And we're live. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Crossing Bridges Talk Show. I'm your host, Larry Montgomery Sr. This is my co host, Will. Will, introduce yourself.
Good evening, everyone. I'm William Montgomery. It's a pleasure to be here.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
good. We're going to talk about haters this week. And so the question is as well, we talk about fatherlessness in the black community and try to encourage black males to step up and you know to their responsibilities. And so you might be asking, how does haters come into this? And I talked to an expert on this topic, and he's in the studio now. Will?
that was funny. Thank you. Not really an expert, but I think the average person is probably an expert on being hated on or experiencing some type of hate for things or other people. So when I speak, most people will be able to confirm whether it's real or not. But in this world of ours, we have a lot of people that don't wish us well. They're not happy that we're happy, so therefore, their mission is to make us unhappy or give us the illusion that they're our friends, giving us wise counsel when all they're doing is wishing for our downfall. I mean, there's
Hmm.
many songs about it. What was it? I can't remember the group, but it was like smiling in your face, but all the while they want to take your place,
Hmm.
backstabbers.
Hmm.
So I mean, it's nothing new. So we just have to be mindful that there's some people out there who are out for their own benefit. Whether it's to see us miserable or to see us unhappy, or to take what we have for themselves. So we definitely need to keep that in mind. Not everything that somebody says to you is coming from a good place. We either build or we destroy. Some people want to build, some people want to destroy. So you got to be mindful of the messenger.
Hmm. So there are male haters and there are female haters.
Yes, there are.
What do you want to say about the female haters?
Well, like I said, some of them, like I said, you have to vet the people that are around you, because some people, like I said, they're never happy when you're happy. And you have women that will tell other women, don't be with that person because this, that, and the other. And because that woman is looking at that woman saying this as a friend or somebody that they respect or whatever, they put a lot of credence to that message that they're giving, when really that other female might want that man or that lifestyle that woman has.
Hmm.
You hear women talk about it all the time. Oh, she's hating on me. Why do you think
Hmm.
she's hating on you? She's hating on you because you're happy, or because you have things that she wants, or you have what she thinks that she believes to be hers.
Hmm.
So, and that could be a woman getting in a man's ear. A woman might tell a man something about a woman because she want that man.
Hmm.
So you really have to, and vice versa. I'm not sexist. Men will do that too. Men might say something to a woman because he want that woman and he don't want her to choose that guy that she's with. So I mean, it's nothing new under the sun. It's
Hmm.
just the way you perceive it.
Okay. Okay. Um, I have something here I just wanted to bring up real quick to start the conversation. What are 5 ways to deal with haters? We'll talk about the hating definition in a moment. But the 5 ways to deal with it, number one would be acknowledge the hurt, because we're all human. Number two, examine the truth. Number three, are they a known hater? Four, ask yourself if this actually matters. And five, keep your distance. I saw a post on Facebook the other day from a young lady named Zoe, and it read as follows: Cain killed Abel not because Abel wronged him or fought with him, but it was because Cain couldn't stand the favor of God on Abel's life. Sometimes you may wonder why people talk behind your back, why they hate you, why they do the things they do to you. It's not that you have a problem, it's because they can't stand the favor of God on your life. That's why you don't need to stress yourself over people who are determined to frustrate or misunderstand you. You have to understand that that not everyone will like you, but everyone shall witness that you are favored by the Lord. Stand firm in God and what you believe in, and no one will shake you. Now, I have a quick video. I want to run it. It's about 3 minutes. Let me see
Okay.
if I can get it up here.
Another day, another story. 5 ways to deal with haters, according to the Bible. You can be the ripest, juiciest peach in the world, and there's still going to be someone that hates peaches. Dita Von Teese. I know what you're thinking. What could the Bible possibly have to do with haters? But yes, haters have been around for a very long time. Jesus had plenty of haters, and the Bible gives clear instructions on how to handle them. Do nothing. Luke 21:17-19, everyone will hate you because of me. But not a hair of your head will perish. Stand firm, and you will win life. Everyone experiences hate and bitterness at some point in their life. Whether it's from friends, family, or coworkers, it happens to the best of us. As Christians, we are called to live in ways that many won't understand. Jesus warned us that we would be hated. But he tells us to stand firm and do nothing. Luke 21:19 even goes as far as saying that we will win life. As hard as it may be, stand firm now to win later. Don't hate them back. 1 Peter 3:9 Do not repay evil for evil or reviling for reviling, but on the contrary, bless, for to this you were called, that you may obtain a blessing. It's so easy to want to fight back or say the perfect comeback when someone disrespects you or your beliefs. But nothing good comes from payback. After all, an eye for an eye makes the whole world blind. The Bible tells us that we will obtain blessings after we bless those that hurt us. Don't try to figure out why. Psalm 38:19 Many have become my enemies without cause, those who hate me without reason are numerous. I know from personal experience that you can drive yourself crazy trying to figure out why someone dislikes you. I wish I could go back in time and read this verse to my younger self. Some people will hate you for no reason, and we need to learn to be okay with that. Focus your efforts on living your best life instead of wasting them trying to justify someone's hate. Forgive them. Ephesians 4:32 Instead, be kind to each other, tender-hearted, forgiving one another, just as God through Christ has forgiven you. No matter how close you are to God, you spend every day living in sin. God loves you so much that he forgives every single sin, and he doesn't look at you any differently. Ephesians 4:32 makes it clear that God wants us to be kind to others and forgive them like God has forgiven us. He never said forgiving our haters would be easy, but he did tell us it's necessary. Bless them. Romans 12:14 Bless those who persecute you, bless and do not curse them. Lastly, bless your haters. Every person you meet was put into your life for a reason. Some are here to bless you while some are here to test you. The next time your character is tested by someone, go out of your way to bless them and God will bless you in return.
Okay. So, that seems pretty simple, right?
Yep.
You know, we talk about haters. Let's see here. I have something here. What does man say about dealing with haters? That should be interesting, because you would think that would probably be mirroring what God has said about haters.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that man has said: acknowledge the hurt. We are human. We have feelings. We are biologically programmed to live in communities because our survival depended on it. Identify the feelings you are feeling, rejection, failure, insecurity, whatever, and name it. Then recognize that the feeling is not a fact. It is just a feeling and it will pass. You know, a lot of times we get caught up in our emotions. And we've talked about emotions over and over again.
Mhm.
They're only a feeling at a moment in time. If you take a deep breath sometimes, really all the time, if you take a deep breath and let it out before you respond to your feelings, you'll probably make better decisions. You know,
Mhm.
you see people who road rage, um, that hits almost everybody on the road, especially nowadays. There's so many more people on the road, and not everybody actually is a good driver. A lot of
Mhm.
distracted drivers, a lot of agitated drivers, or whatever. And you respond to the driver in front of you or the driver beside you because you perceive that they did something to either put you at risk or disrespect you or however you want to put it, and you respond to it as opposed to stopping and thinking, well, is it really that important? Does it really matter? And back to the point earlier about fathers stepping up to do what they should do. I don't know how many TV shows I've watched over the years. Maternity Court, Maury, I always talk about Maury, and things like
Mhm.
that, where people come and they're, parent challenged. They don't want to be the parent, or they don't know if they're the parent, or they're trying to get out from being a parent, whatever. And we got all these excuses. But the reality is that it's a responsibility that you now have, and you 9 times out of 10, you brought it upon yourself
Mhm.
because you just conducted yourself recklessly and without thinking. Uh, but anyway, a lot of these people are just, and when you talk to them and you ask them to openly explain how did they get to this point, you'll find most of them will talk out of both sides of their mouth. They'll say, well, this was the situation, and then they'll turn right around and say that that wasn't the situation. Oh, he said he loved me, but then he treated me like crap. So how do we connect those two dots? you know,
Yeah.
but you're running with both of them in your head. Um,
Well, I will say this if I can.
sure.
Um, that gap is the feelings. The feelings somehow for them connected it. It's like I'm feeling one way, even though I'm being treated another way, and I justify that treatment because of the way I felt in the past.
Mhm.
Or I say, you know what, I'm supposed to forgive this person. I forgave them, and it's done. But then they do it again, and instead of saying, you know what, well, um, this is not good. Well, I'm feeling like I should give them another chance instead of saying logically I should not give them another chance because it doesn't make sense. Our feelings are not based in facts. It's based in feelings. And today we
Emotion.
might feel one way, the next day we might feel a totally different way. So if we
Mhm.
govern our lives based on feelings, we'll always be backwards,
Mhm.
because either today we're going the wrong way or tomorrow we're going the wrong way. And we won't ever know what to do. But if we base it in facts, hey, these are the facts. This person did this to me. Do I need to be in the midst of them? Probably not. So factually based, I'm not going to deal with that person. And that should be it. But if it's like, well, I care about them and this, I mean, nobody's discounting the fact that you care about. You could love somebody from afar. You don't have to be with somebody to still maintain feelings for them.
Yeah, sometimes you have to love them from a distance, and deal with them with a long handled spoon,
Hmm.
because your feelings may overtake you, and you find yourself right back in the same situation. Your mind is telling you, "Look, leave that fool alone," you know, and just to put that to the side for a minute, and just to talk a little bit about being in love. You know, there is no law that says just because you love somebody that they're going to love you,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And the saddest thing to see is the saddest thing to happen to you is to be in love with someone and they don't love you. Or they'll tell you, yeah, I love you too, and they'll just treat you poorly.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, well, they keep telling me that they love me, and I love them, but they keep, cheating on me. You say, well, if they really love me, then they wouldn't cheat on me. I love them. I don't cheat on them, you know. And then you're stuck there, still trying to have a relationship with somebody who's already in their mind, either in the front of their mind or in the back of their mind, has decided they don't care about you. It's all about them. Long as they're happy, life is good. When they're not happy, it's a problem for everybody in the zip code, because I'm not happy. And those people, they're out there, and what can you say? You can't fix them. You just have to like them or deal with them with a long handled spoon. You stay over there, I'm over here. Hi, how you doing? And keep it moving.
Yeah.
But now we were talking about how man treats haters. I'll tell you how you should deal with them. I have that video.
Another day, another
Shorter.
story. 5 ways to handle the haters. What to do when people don't like you. It was a blog post about Chick-fil-A sauce that made me think about the haters. A simple, well-written metaphor that compared personal taste for which dipping sauce to use for your nuggets, ketchup, Polynesian, or the author's favorite Chick-fil-A sauce, and why people choose differently. The author used the metaphor to amplify the point that no matter how hard we try, we can't always be the sauce of choice for everyone. Some people hate ketchup. Some people hate Polynesian. Some people hate Chick-fil-A sauce. Some people hate all three. And some people just hate. The haters can't help themselves. But we still try, don't we? We want everyone, everywhere, to like us every bit as every other person on the planet. We bend over backwards to be nicer. We extend extra effort to appease the haters. We go out of our way to try to figure out the right recipe we need to be, so that we can be included in their inner circle. Instead of putting this energy into those that love us, support us, and sing our praises every day, we willingly gift it to those who will never choose ketchup over Chick-fil-A sauce. So how do we handle the haters? Here are 5 tips to help you bear and accept the knowledge that some people just don't like you. Acknowledge the hurt. We are human. We have feelings. We are biologically programmed to live in communities because our survival depended on it. Identify the feelings you are feeling: rejection, failure, insecurity, and name it. Then recognize that the feeling is not a fact. It is just a feeling. It will pass. Examine the truth. If someone came up to you and stated, "I don't like your blue hair," and you don't have blue hair, would your feelings be hurt? Probably not. You don't have blue hair. You might just assume their judgment is a little off, or that they are a little crazy, and move on. Try that mode of thinking when someone says or acts like they don't like you. They just don't like your non-existent blue hair. Are they a known hater? Mean girls or mean boys, for whatever their personal reason, exist. It's their modus operandi. As a result of their upbringing, background, personality, life experiences, they are just haters. You are not going to change them, and you are certainly not going to win them over. Identify and move on. Ask yourself if this matters. Your coworker not liking you and your spouse not liking you are 2 totally different problems. If this person is on the periphery of your life, and not in your inner family circle, does it really matter if they like you? You can still work together and not be best friends. Maintain civility and respect in your collaborations and do the work. Your emotional intelligence will grow as you learn to move beyond feelings. Most of all, you will find it doesn't really matter. Keep the distance. Only engage with a hater as much as you absolutely need to. If you don't need to, don't. Maintaining a healthy boundary will help you keep perspective and limit their toxicity. Sit on the other side of the room. Engage with people who fill your bucket and share your values. As a result, their opinion will matter less. At the end of the day, some will choose the ketchup, some will choose the Polynesian, and some will choose you the Chick-fil-A sauce. Your perfect mix of savory and sweet will be the best thing they have ever tasted, and, as a result, they will want more. Your job is to keep it coming. Be you. Be original. Be that awesome sauce.
Here we are. So we've talked about haters, hating, and how to handle it. Any questions?
No, I mean, like I said, you just got to keep a watchful eye. Um, never be impatient. To try to move right then. Take a minute, think about it. There's nothing that says you have to make a a decision right away if somebody says something to you. I mean, you could take a few minutes, take a day, think about it. Like, you know what? I done thought about how this person said that yesterday and how they said that last week and the week before that. It's just a toxic individual.
Mm.
Do I want to engage with them anymore? Or I'll just take what they say as a grain of salt because they said about 10 other people and throughout the week. So they're just that type of individual. They're not out for anybody to be happy. So I'm not going to give them that much credit, or emphasis in my life. Now if it was somebody like a parent, like, oh well, maybe I need to take that as constructive criticism, because what they're saying may be to benefit me, But somebody that we need to learn how to classify what's hate and what's constructive criticism, because some people will classify constructive criticism as somebody hating, and it's really you really have to look at the benefit. If the person's not going to benefit from what they're giving you, then they're probably just being real with you. If there's somebody that's going to benefit, like, oh, they like seeing people miserable, and you see it because the way they interact with other people, and they tell you something negative, they're probably just telling you that so they can see that you're miserable. You know what I'm saying? But somebody that loves you, that loves for you, tell you something that you don't like to hear, that's not necessarily hate. Like, oh, my brother hating on me. No, your brother might be trying to point something out to you that you're missing out on. So we need to be able to classify the difference between hate and criticism and constructive criticism and things of that nature.
Well, a part of it also lends itself to control. You've got someone who calls himself, or you call them a friend, and they're really a fiend, and they want to continue to keep drama in your life. So they'll tell you things or say things that they know are going to take you places, and then they want to come to your rescue so you continue to depend and trust in them,
Mm-hmm.
when their only objective is self aggrandizement. Long as they are in control, long as they feel you leaning on them and trusting in them, they're in control, and they're happy with that. When it comes down, as we talked earlier about men and pregnancies, you can't say it enough. Just because someone is willing to go to bed with you doesn't mean you should go to bed with them.
Mm-hmm.
Really, it just doesn't mean that. I mean, okay, so you want me? That's cool for you. I don't want you, or I don't know you, and I really don't want anything I don't know, because I don't know what I'm going to get.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and people people be friendly and all this here because we out drinking and carrying on and having a good time dancing, and then in the morning when things is over and they call you, say, oh, by the way, I'm pregnant. You be like, oh, well, you was good to hang around with, hang out with, and dance and drink with, but I don't see you being my baby's mama, so I don't have no babies with you.
Hmm.
You know, and your mind is made up, and their mind is made up that you're gonna be here to support this baby, and we got a lot of that conflict out there. Had the man said to himself, look, just because it's free don't mean it's for me,
Mm-hmm.
or always protect yourself, always, you know, and really, when you get married, for the first few years, you might want to consider protecting yourself, because there's no guarantee the marriage is going to work out.
Mm-hmm.
You bring your baggage, she bring her baggage. In the first few years, it looks good, and then after a while, like, oh, I can't really take this in every day, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and I want out. But now we got kids, so now what I got to do? I'm here. I got to stay here, and you're miserable, and you run around cheating. because you're miserable at home. Well, you got to put your big boy pants on and say, look, get over yourself. You walked into this room and closed the door behind you. You here. Deal with it, you know? So, I, yes.
Now, I was just had a thought in my mind too. You know, pregnancies are, a lot of people look at pregnancies as accidents or unplanned or whatever, but there is some science out there that can help people understand when they're more optimal to become pregnant. And it might be beneficial for men to start getting this information so that they know what questions to ask, because if you want to engage in certain activities, you probably should be well versed in the knowledge on what the ramifications could be, you know, like certain times of the month, because you have women out there that can't get pregnant to save their life. They have to be a certain temperature, a certain day of the month, and this, that, and the other. And I mean, like, if it's that hard to get pregnant for some people, not all, then understanding that science, hey, you know, is it the time of the month for you? Or, you know, like, how long has it been? You know, you might have to ask those questions if you want to engage in those activities. If you don't, you just rolling the dice, you know?
Well, you gotta be concerned. Um, and that's right. Yeah, you need to talk to people before you engage in sex with them. And you need to get an understanding. You say, oh man, we was just hanging out, everything was cool. No, everything ain't cool. Because it could blow up in your face real quick.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we talk about, you know, you impregnated a woman and, you know, and the child is coming. Maybe she's got twins. Now what? Maybe she's
Or
got triplets.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe the child has a birth defect that, had you talked to the woman, had she talked to you, may have come up in the conversation. You say, oh, well, we might want to be careful before we do anything like that there, because we willingly agreeing to bringing a child into this world that's going to suffer,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and suffering. If you ain't the one suffering, you ain't feeling their pain. You know, you say, oh, you know, it's going to work out. I love them, all that. Yeah, but you ain't feeling their pain, you know, and you made a decision, really unconscious decision, that created this, you know. So yeah, you got to think about it. Society, and we talked about media and social media and things like that there, and what trends are out there and things like that there. That ain't got nothing to do with you when you close your door and at home. All that stuff is out there in the street. You know, when you're at home, you got to deal with what's in your home, what's in your household, you know. And yeah, you can always turn the computer off and not, you know, seeing these posts on Facebook or anything like that there. But you can't turn your life off unless unless you kick the bucket or something like that there. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But is it worth it? You know, it only takes a moment, really. I mean, not even a moment, just a quick take a deep breath, and you'll be able to see clearly, because your emotions have got all kinds of things in front of you. You know, take a deep breath. Whew.
Mm-hmm.
You know, yeah, she looks good, you know, and all that there, and this Hennessy is kicking in, but what's going to happen on Tuesday?
And
What's going to happen on Friday?
I mean, if I throw something else in on that, I mean, because we talking about trying to prevent pregnancies, but what about, you know, sexually transmitted diseases? You know,
Yeah.
I mean, there's stuff out there that will stay with you longer than kids. So,
Right.
you know, and have adverse effects, and some that won't let you live to see, you know, your child reach 10 years old. You know, so like
Right.
the responsibility, I mean, just because a person says that they're on birth control doesn't mean that it's going to work 100%.
Right.
And birth control don't stop, you know, sexually transmitted diseases. So you really, really, really are rolling the dice, you know what I'm saying? And you don't want to wind up with Yahtzee. Okay. Just
Some
saying.
people, when you say that, some people have, you know, sexually transmitted diseases or whatever, transmitting or receiving.
Mm-hmm.
You know, um, you don't know. You know, and you're putting your life at risk for what? A few minutes of pleasure? Yeah. Oh, okay. So you was in there for hours. Is that worth your life?
it's minuscule in
Right,
comparison to
right. And
the
some
decades
people,
that you could be living on this earth.
right, and some people out there, they have mental illnesses, and they can hide it until the meds wear off, until the sun comes up, you know,
Mhm.
and you connected to them, you
Yeah.
know, through another human being, and so yeah, okay, I'm just gonna walk away and leave it, you know, and that's what happens, and then that child grows up to be someone who is likely to walk away from their problems, you
Hmm.
know, and on and on and on. That. But anyway,
I mean,
um,
I mean, I'm just going to speculate here, but like I
mhm,
said, if you're uh, a soon-to-be father and you walk away from your child, let's say it's a son, and he grows up and he's in this environment with a mother that's giving him all the love that she can, but she can't say anything positive about his father to him. He's not going to learn how to be a good man. He's just going to think that he, if his mother happens to say he's like his father, or he
mhm,
reminds her of his father, that's not a good feeling for a child. If you've been talking bad about your father, if a woman has been talking bad about the father in front of
mhm,
the child, and then the child grows up, and then the mother starts seeing the father's features in the child, like, oh, you just like your daddy, you're gonna be
mhm,
a heartbreaker, whatever.
mhm,
That's not positive reinforcement for that child if that father has been out of his life
mhm.
for you know his whole life. So I mean, you never know what kind of destruction is coming. It could be in the most innocent things that in a normal family, son growing up with the father there, mother says, oh, you just like your dad, this, that, the other. You have positive memories and stuff like that. It's like, oh yeah, I'm just like my dad. That's great. Let me continue down that path.
Mhm.
But somebody who doesn't like their father for whatever reason, and a mother says, oh, you just like your dad or whatever, you're handsome like him or whatever, or you remind me of him or whatever.
Mhm.
I mean, that could have some mental impact right there on a child. So we never know how a child or individual can be damaged in a relationship with you not being there.
Right. And you have to be cognizant of the fact when you flip your conversation. It's one thing to be, all right, uh, the father walked out or whatever, and you're mad and you're bitter, and you say negative things about him to your child. And then some years later, you run into the father again. But then at that moment, you realize that, look, we're better off the way we are. You've got your life, I got my life, like that there. And maybe have a few, rounds of whatever. And then you come home. I'm talking about the woman coming home to
Hmm.
the child and saying something, oh, you starting to act just like your father, whatever. He tells jokes or whatever like that. And now the kid is totally confused because the kid is already hurt because he doesn't know his father, you know. And now you're talking about, um, well, you're such a good guy, he's funny, you do the things, same things he does. You talk the way you walked away or whatever. Now the kid grows up and says, okay, well, I walk like my father, I talk like, I tell jokes like, and I can walk out on a mother,
Hmm.
because that's what my father did, you know,
Hmm.
subconsciously,
Yeah.
and like the cycle just keeps going on and on and on. Um, it's just sad.
And
So,
I will say this, I'm sorry,
mhm,
but sometimes you'll have, you know, women with the best intentions when they're raising their sons, they will actually tell their children, their men, their sons, not to deal with certain females. They'll tell them exactly what to look for because they know how some people are.
mhm,
They'll try to tell them what to avoid. They'll tell them how to dress, how to look good, how to smell good, this, that, and the other. Give them all the tools to be, that woman, uh, that woman getter. But they don't, they might tell them how to treat them, but then they also tell them the both sides of the game probably. So you got somebody that's armed with the ability to go out here and generate that interest in him from the opposite sex, but then he may not over time not respect him because he's able to see so many of them.
Mhm.
You see what I'm saying? So he,
Mm.
it's a double-edged sword. You
Yeah,
got to be careful.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, that happens a lot. You know, folks they just get enthralled with the fact that oh, my son looks so good. He's handsome. He's growing up or whatever, and he's a chick magnet. Oh, he's got plenty of girlfriends and whatever like this here, and then you don't have a clue what he's doing with them until he comes home with one that says, I'm pregnant. And usually, what happens that one that came by and said that she's pregnant by your son, there's probably another one out there that ain't said nothing yet.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because the boy is just living a life that he thinks his mother is proud of. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
you're a chick magnet. You
Yeah.
know, well, it's you can't do anything about your looks, and if you're trying to do the best you can with yourself and that, but you got to understand, every woman out there is not for you.
Mm-hmm.
you know, and you ain't for every woman out there. You
Mm-hmm.
know, and going from one to the next and say, oh, I'm trying to find the right one. That's some story some fool gave you to walk with. You know, oh yeah, well, we're cool. How many girls you been with? 5, 6. Yeah, this week. Yeah, yeah. You
Mm-hmm.
know, next week you're dead because you got something and you didn't know what it was and no one else could figure out what it was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Or one of the girls is dead because you gave them something from somebody else. You
Mm-hmm.
know. But yeah, you had a good time that whole week.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Got to be careful.
yeah. So it's time to wrap up. You do your announcement.
Okay. We would like to extend the opportunity for our guests to recommend topics for us to discuss. If you hit us up in the comment section, we can make that happen. If you would like to be a guest or a panelist, also hit us up in that comment section, and we look forward to hearing from our viewers.
Okay. And next week's topic will either be dealing with users or dealing with liars, depending on which one I come up with. So, so
Okay.
we'll have that conversation. Until then, we'll see you again next week, God willing.